pledge allegiance.
Okay, we're good. Okay, Matt.
Okay, I'm gonna call the public part of the meeting back to order at 7:07 PM, and we'll start with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Yeah.
of the United States of America and to the republic
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. All right, the board just held a non-public session. Does anybody want to make a motion?
1 second.
All right, I'll make the motion if you want. I would move that the board just came out of a non-public session under RSA 91B and C. I think I got that right. And I would move to keep all matters confidential until such time as a majority of the board believes the circumstances no longer apply.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we have to do a roll call vote, sorry. Charlie?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And Matt's an aye. And just so everybody knows, I had planned on being with you all tonight. Just when you think it's safe to come out, I did take one of those tests, and so just precautionary. I'm here tonight. I'm sorry I cannot be there live and in person. Hopefully I'll be there soon. That's basically all I have to say, Diane. Right? Anything else? All right. All right. Heading towards the agenda, let me just pull up my agenda. I believe the first one on here is the Marshall House repairs. I think Ron and Cheryl might be here to talk to us.
No podium. Podium's over there now?
Hi. So
Hello.
we, Ron and I are the curators for the Historical Society. The Marshall House building, Diane has pictures. Last year, the town replaced the roof on the Marshall House building. As we know, that building belongs to the town. The contents of the building belongs to the Historical Society. Because of the leaking roof, the ceiling in the kitchen is falling down. It's starting to fall down. It's got holes in it, and it's not going to be long before it just collapses in. We've been talking about this at the society for a long time. The building is in such disrepair. We're not sure if we should just have the town sell it and take the stuff out of there and either sell that or put it in our museum. But the building is in really bad shape. The cobbler shop needs windows. They're broken, and we boarded them up. In the barn's pretty solid. It seems to be okay, but we have 3 carriages in there, and 2 of them are Hayford carriages that came from when Hayford built them here in Newton. What we would like to do is if the town decides to not repair the ceiling and just not repair the building and decides to sell it, then what we would like to do is see if there's a place where we can store the 2 Hayford carriages. It's such town history that we really don't want to get rid of them. I was talking to Chief Jewett and had a kind of a good idea that I thought was a good idea. He thought it was a good idea, that if maybe we could take them apart and put them here in Town Hall on display, rope them off so that people, when they come in here for meetings or here for different functions, they'd be able to see them. And maybe it might bring people in just to see things. They might come in to come to a selectmen's meeting just to see them. But we need to do something. We did put in an insurance claim with Nancy to see if the insurance would cover the ceiling in the Marshall House, but it's something that the board really needs to deal with. We really need to decide what we're gonna do about that building. And the Historical Society doesn't have the money to fix it, and it's not our building to fix. have to replace the roof on the museum this year. That's got a hole starting in the roof of that building. So it's something that has to be addressed.
Cheryl, do you think it would be a wise idea for us to get some sort of an estimate to fix that inside that building?
Well, that's why we
And then put it on the warrant for next year?
I don't know that it'll last that long, Charlie. Diane,
Didn't we just put a roof on it?
yeah, but the ceiling got so wet,
Yeah.
and the second floor, the bedroom and the second floor, the walls are coming, because that got wet. So it's like bowing really bad on the second floor. I don't know that it'll last that long. We moved everything out of the kitchen so that if the ceiling collapses, it's not gonna ruin that stuff. But it's something that needs to be addressed. And the other thing is, it might be, most likely, it's lead paint.
Yeah, I bet it
And
is.
I don't want to deal with that, and that's a liability.
The insurance adjuster's coming tomorrow. Diane's going to take them in the building so they can see what they say.
I mean, that could be step one, just to see what the insurance will do for us and what the cost might be for the ceiling. But I think the general question, as Cheryl's touched upon, is what's our overall strategy? Are we just putting good money after bad?
Yep.
So,
It seems like every year it's something with those old buildings, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Not sure. But I kind of like the idea that we could put the carriages on display in here. You have all that section in the corner of the room they're not huge. They're not humongous
They're not huge.
carriages. They're just small Surrey Hafer carriages.
I can understand about the plastic, because once it gets wet, that's what happens. It loses its continuity. And so with the ceiling and upstairs, do we have a general consensus of the total overall structure? If that in fact is intact, because where we just did the roof, if the structure's intact, then it would be feasible to, if the insurance will pay for it, you know what I mean, to
pay at
take
all.
it, to
And maybe you need to get somebody that knows about that to look
yeah,
at it.
I think that would be another move. We have the insurance company do their thing, and then have somebody take a general assessment of the structural,
Could the building inspector do that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Have him take a look at it and see what he thinks.
But it's something that
So-
needs to get addressed sooner than
Yeah.
later. It's not a good thing what's going on in there.
Right, and then if that's be the case, and he comes back and says the structure is, then exactly what you're saying, I can't see putting money into it if it's gonna require that much.
Right.
And then we could look, like what you're talking about, taking the artifacts from our history and putting them in places to where the people would be able to enjoy
We
them.
could put some in the museum, and some of it is just not even Newton history in there.
Right,
Now, Cheryl, didn't we do some work around the foundation a few years back because the foundation was caving in?
On the Marshall House?
Yep.
I know they went around and
'Cause I know
cleaned
I
out
went
all
over
the, because there was a bunch of bushes and stuff
Yeah.
growing against the building, and they were growing up into the siding.
Right.
I don't recall that, Charlie.
But I thought they did something to the foundation.
The wood.
Masonry work?
Yeah, on the outside of the building.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't recall that.
so I thought they made the
So-
foundation usable.
so it sounds like, and I don't think we need a motion, it sounds like Diane's already on schedule to walk Primex through there. Can we ask Nancy to get in touch with Bob, the other Bob, the building inspector Bob, to do a walkthrough as well? And then maybe at our next meeting, we can get some sort of summation of what those two parties came up with.
Sure.
And I do agree, like, let's not make this a 6 or 8 months decision, especially since winter is always coming, right? So, we'll kind of figure this out sooner rather than later.
Okay, thank you.
no, thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right. So moving on to our next agenda item, I have the ARPA EOC update.
So Trish texted me, and she doesn't have any update because they're not meeting until tomorrow.
Right, noontime.
So there is no update from her.
All right. Perfect. Sounds good. Moving on to letter D is department heads, operations, and budgetary concerns. All right, I assume, Diane, just so you know, there's no, I'm only getting I haven't been getting a view of the speaker at all.
Okay,
Probably because it's over there instead of over here.
You want me to move it?
no, we're trying a new experiment here, so,
Okay.
if Jamie can hear us, maybe he can,
Matt, you can hear me, right?
there we
Yeah,
go.
oh yeah, I can hear loud and clear. It's
There we
just
go.
the typical angle we get for the
Okay.
speaker.
All right. Good evening, Board. Mike Pavero, road agent. I'm here as a part of the public safety trio. I'm going to voice, and this isn't to complain, it's an informational update for the board more than anything else. I'm going to recap quickly, go through the past. I've been road agent now 14 years. And in the past 14 years, I've reconstructed 38,000 linear feet of road. I've put in 6,000 feet of culvert. That calculates out to about 7 miles of road. I've done 2 major box culvert upgrades, one on Pond Street, one on Curryville. I did a 60-inch culvert repair on the arch culvert on Country Pond Road. I've done 3 ice water mitigations where roads were flooding forever. The top of Highland Street, which I think everybody knew every winter was a sheet of ice. I did one on Quaker. And I did a 3rd on Marcoux where most residents don't go. It's at the end of Pond Street, not a heavily traveled area, but when it rained and in the winter there was about 1.5 feet of water on one section of road. So all of those have been mitigated. Built the salt shed in the first year I was here, so we had a salt yard shed for the highway department. And I've gone through 6 natural disasters since I've been road agent. Bringing that up only to point out that I think I got a pretty good idea of what it takes and the needs here in Newton for the highway department. We're drastically underfunded. We have been right along. I'm going to give you numbers right now that will illustrate that fact. The most current, which isn't posted yet on the website, I'll get with Diane or whoever and make sure it does get posted. I looked today, is the 2022 road evaluation that I do every 5 years with the town engineer. So there's a list of roads. I won't go through them because really, again, I'm just here for a monetary update, so to speak. There's 11 roads listed. The engineer's estimate to do those 11 roads is $1.7 million to repair those roads. At my current budget, which is $45,000 of a line item and on an average $80,000 of a highway block grant, it's going to take me 14 years to do the repair to those roads. Now that's just constructing roads that have failed. That has nothing to do with the maintenance of existing roads, the 7 miles that I've just done in the past 14 years. Not to bore you with it, but there is a science to roadway. It's called pavement preservation. You have to maintain your roads as you build them. Everybody's familiar with the cracking of the roads, usually a centerline seam. Winters are harsh up here on roadways, not just here, all the way through New England and the cold regions. Once those roads start to move and split, you have to crack seal and keep those cracks from opening up and in the wintertime receiving water. If you don't do that and you fall behind on that maintenance, your roads will unravel. It's important that you keep that in mind, because if I can't keep up to that part of it, then I lose the roads that have been rebuilt recently. Because if you crack seal them, you keep them together, you can do an overlay, and for a lot less money, gain life out of those roads. Most of our roads in town you can't overlay because they've already gone beyond the point of failure. You know, at a minimum, for 14, if it's going to take us 14 years to do the list of town engineer and myself roads that are desperately need repair, you can see that I'm just chasing my tail. I'm getting nowhere. Part of the reason I'm here tonight is, one, frustration. It's overly frustrating. Selectmen get their own calls from residents in town, but you don't get my calls. And I'm not complaining. I'm the head of the highway department. I'm the road agent in town. People are gonna call me for road issues. But when they call me, and it sounds like I'm giving them a repetitive excuses, I don't have funding. I don't have enough money to do the job it takes to maintain the infrastructure here in town. I mentioned a couple meetings ago, if you estimate the road infrastructure here in town, it's about $45 to $50 million worth of road infrastructure here in Newton, if you had to build it. I get $480,000 a year to maintain that. Half of that goes to winter maintenance. So you can see the math doesn't work. It's a mathematical equation. Again, I'm not up here to complain. I'm just pointing out to you guys that there's not enough funding. And again, I get the phone calls. I get the frustration level from residents in town wanting something to be done, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I just have no means to do it. The other thing I got to remind the board is I don't work for the board. I don't work for you guys. I work for the residents. Those folks elect me. And if I can't do my job, it reflects poorly on me. That's where it reflects poorly on. But I don't have control of the funding. You guys have control of the funding. So it's my job to relay to you guys that if I can't do my job and I look poorly, I'm going to remind you guys why I'm looking poorly.
But Mike, you said at a few different meetings that you've been the road agent for 10 years and you never increased the budget. And I've told you to increase the budget.
You are correct. You are correct.
And you need to increase the budget. I mean, the people in town know that.
Okay, and that's a fair statement. But I don't like coming to this podium. I don't like being here tonight because I feel like I'm begging for something that the selectmen should give me.
Well, we saw how easily the police department budget went through with a $200,000 increase. I don't see, if you had done it like I told you, you probably would have money to fix your roads.
And how did you tell me to do it, Charlie?
I told you to put it in
go
your
up on my
budget.
budget.
Put it in your budget.
Okay, so this fall, this is part of the reason I'm standing in this podium. I know we're not getting this resolved tonight. I'm painfully aware of that.
We're probably not gonna get it done this year.
Oh, but we're talking about when we go for budget season this year, I'm going to have the overall consent of the Board of Selectmen that I can increase my budget and prove where it has to
I
be.
will stand behind you when I told you. I told you right off. I said, increase your budget. And I'll stand behind you. I've told you that.
Okay, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yep,
And I'll remind you.
You won't have to worry about me. I won't fight you on it.
Okay,
I know how the roads are. I know people are calling me. I told them to call you.
as I said, I get the phone calls.
Good. I
And
get them too.
Before Charlie jumped in there, Mike, did you still have something? that you sounded like you were mid-sentence.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just, I'm not here just to complain. I'm here to kind of give some, maybe suggestions for solutions to the problem. I don't like coming with stuff unless I have some solutions to offer to you guys. One, and I just found out about this yesterday, so I don't know enough about it. There is monies available through emergency management, and it's not ARPA. It's a completely different thing for road infrastructure work. They've sent it out to emergency management. I'm not part of that, so I don't see it. I got this through a different town that brought it to my attention. I think it's, if I understood correctly, it's a grant, and it's like an 80% grant. So it's a partial, like they'll give 80, we got to match it with 20%, which is still a home run. This year, deficiencies that we're going to be looking at that I have to deal with is the Wilder's Grove culvert. That's failed, and it's a culvert, but it falls under the bridge division. It's a red-listed bridge for us. It has been for 5 or 6 years. But last fall, it has failed. The other issue that I don't have any money in the budget is the MS4, which Nancy is familiar with. MS4 is real now. Mike Vignali is doing some of the work for the town, but it falls in the scope of the highway department, helping the town engineer doing, water quality and culverts and outfalls and stuff of that nature. There's penalties that are assessed to that. I have no line item in my budget to do any work regarding any of that MS4 stuff. And that's gonna have to become a real thing as far as a dollar cost to maintain that moving forward. The other one is I brought up, and I'm bringing it up again tonight. As you guys are aware of, I have one highway employee. We'll follow this up at another meeting, probably the next meeting, because I can't keep kicking the can down the road. I need another highway employee to work with Ronnie for multiple reasons. One, we could just talk about safety in general. He really can't do a lot of the stuff out there by himself, nor should he. He's a good guy. He'll do what he can. He does as much as he can by himself. I work with him when I can. And I say when I can, I remind the board, I am not a paid road agent. Most of the stuff I do here in town, unless I'm plowing or in a machine, I do out of gratis. So when we're talking about that money that's available, somebody, again, I don't get paid for this function. You either need a grant writer, you need somebody. I know the girls in town hall or the folks here in town hall won't have time to do it, but you have to put somebody on this to track money that may be available that we can receive to offset costs here in town. I've been here 14 years. I've seen the mindset. We have to change the culture of the thought process in here in Newton. It has to change, and it has to change quickly. And I'm not beating anybody up about it. I mean, walking in the town hall right now, you walk in, the sidewalks are all cracked coming in the town hall. The infrastructure is building infrastructure and road infrastructure. And it costs, it unfortunately costs money to maintain and keep this stuff up. And the buildings are deteriorating and the roads are deteriorating. I'll take care of it on my end if I can get funding. But it's more than just highway, it's a total infrastructure. I'm just bringing it to the board's attention. I know you guys are aware of some of what I'm telling you. And right now for the highway department, it's kind of like the unfortunate perfect storm. Operating costs have gone through the roof. So even what I did last year on Heath Street, which is a repair of the last section of Heath Street, and you guys know I have to repair most of these roads in pieces because I don't have enough money to do the whole road. The only one I was able to do was Thornell, and that was 2+ years of funding that I deferred so that I could do that in one chunk, which is the right way to do it. I could only do it that way because it was so much drainage upgrade. But, salt prices have gone up 50% this year. Paving prices have gone up 32% this year. Fuel, well, I don't know where the ceiling's gonna be on fuel. So I still have a budget, and my budget has actually gone the opposite way because of the operating costs of materials and how to do it. So I'm actually getting less done than I was doing last year. That's it, just an informational meeting, but truly, we need to change the culture here in town. I know you guys at the budget season, you want to cut the budget, but that cutting the budget's over.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
over. You can't do it because we can't operate at all. I appreciate the time. We'll be back. We'll discuss this more as the season goes on.
Mike, while you're there,
Yeah.
could I ask you if you could do something for the town? Is filling them holes down there at the end of this driveway? When everybody comes in here, we're gonna end up fixing cars.
Charlie.
It's only coal patch.
Well, first of all, it isn't coal patch. Coal patch ended when the hot plants opened up. So
Well,
we're doing
put
hot mix
something in there.
repairs right now. Charlie, remember the phone calls I told you I'm getting?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm getting them daily.
I don't doubt it.
Ronnie has been out fixing potholes for 2.5 weeks since the plants opened. He's nowhere near getting caught up on road travel ways. I've worked with him for 3 days trying to catch up on him. So when we're done on the bad section of roads, we'll get here.
Well, I just hope somebody's front end don't get wiped out first. That's all, Mike.
Charlie, you know how many people tell me that? See, you don't
probably a
understand-
lot.
You don't understand the frustration. You don't understand.
Oh, yeah, I do.
No, you don't, Charlie.
So let's just switch gears a little bit here. Still in kind of response to what Mike presented to us is, you know, my thing I would add is we all work for the voters, right? And in the time I've been on the board, we've kind of done it all. We've gone down, we've gone up a lot, we've gone up a little. It's all about trying to figure out what's palatable for the voters, and what I think it comes down to, and here we sit, what's it, April still? So it's in April, we have a few months, and what it comes down to is if we see this kind of freight train coming at us, we have to come up with a strategy in order to present this to the voters so they understand why we would increase, right? Last year, we had a bunch of salary increases. We explained to the voters during our budget season, right? All those meetings and stuff, it was about retaining employees that we would lose. And this stuff to me is about investing in infrastructure so down the road we don't have an emergency situation. But other members of the board, do you have a comment on Mike's statement?
Could you do me a favor? I'm on the White House website. There's like 3 grants at least out of 25. One unfortunately expired 4 days ago. That deals with infrastructure. Could you see with other road agents who writes their grants and how much possibly it costs?
Oh, that's easy. I can do that.
Okay, yeah,
I know 3 other towns that have grant writers.
Yeah.
They hire engineers to do the grant writers, and they stay on top of it. Yeah.
So I mean, right now, just
Yeah.
like I said, on whitehouse.gov, I have at least 3 that we could possibly. Unfortunately, it was 4, but it just expired on the 14th. But yeah, if you could just get us a hypothetical cost from them, because I'd like to apply for these. I mean, one expires May 22nd. I don't know if we can make it, but if we can figure out a cost and maybe maybe we have an emergency meeting to hire someone to write this grant, we can hopefully try to get some funding.
Yeah, you can hire people to do that, grant writers. And that's what you need. That was my point I was trying to get through a little while ago. You need to hire somebody because there's nobody here in town. I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but there's nobody here in town that has the ability or the time to do it. So you have to reach out to somebody outside to do the grant writing for you. But it'll be worth it if you start to get grants.
Right, you need somebody with the proper verbiage to be
Yeah,
able to
there's
put them
a
together.
science to getting grants.
Exactly.
You know, and you need to hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
And you guys, we've talked about similar stuff before. Other departments have, I have, but we have to do it. We got to stop talking about it and do it.
Do you mind, your liaison is still Matt, right?
Matt, are you still my liaison?
I am, yep.
Lucky you.
And just Just so you know, Edvin, I don't think your microphone's on. Because I'm just getting the echo off the others.
Did you hear most of my speech?
I think so, yeah.
Do you mind getting Matt hypothetical cost of what the other towns are paying for a grant writer by like the end of this week?
I'll try.
Again, if you can't, whatever, but I'd like to see what it is, and then maybe we can figure something out from there.
Yeah. No,
We're gonna figure something out.
I can make a few phone calls. That's only a few phone calls.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just, I would bring those straight into town hall, because you won't see me in person this week, if you know what I mean. So those are the kind of leads we need. And then, Bob, anything to add to this?
No, I just, to the point to, like last year when I came in front of the board about the CIP, everything that Mike's talking about and everything that seems to be coming up is this town's infrastructure is falling apart from lack of funding. And like you said, it's not a freight train, okay? What's coming is Katrina. That storm, that big, is coming, and it's about to hit this town. And everybody in this town is gonna be horrified when they start to see how much money they're gonna have to pay in taxes if we don't start chipping away at some of this infrastructure.
Or get outside funding.
Well, that's
To
what I
off-
mean,
to
that's what I
offset, yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Get the infrastructure taken care of by what we need to do for it. If we keep putting it off, then,
And regarding road infrastructure, listen, Newton's not the only town suffering from this year. It's like the perfect storm. This winter, because of how the winter laid out, with a lot of rain, a lot of wetness and cold, and then it cycled back and forth. I mean, there's articles in every news, this was given me today, in the Lakes region.
yep.
How many towns are suffering from, catastrophic road failures that have just unraveled terribly in this past winter. So it's real. It's real.
There it is.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thank you, Mike.
thank you. All right, so yeah, nothing we can solve tonight, but we need to have it front and center as we move along here before the months fly by, is what it comes down to. And before you know it, there'll be something on the agenda for budget season. Okay, E is request from Sanborn Baseball Softball Association, Greenie Park Ball Fields.
Yep, that's me, Matt.
Yeah,
So, we had a request from the Sanborn Baseball Softball Association to have the infield weed and edged. And I reached out to our landscaper and got a price. And I have a price of $4,320. Then because we obviously didn't budget for that. So the league is looking at paying for it, but they may be out of their budget as well. They may not be able to afford that amount. So what you could do in theory is you could just allow them to reach out to a different vendor and pay for it and not have any expense to the town, if you want to do that.
yeah. If we do that, the only thing I would add is they need to follow our process by having an insurance binder sent over to us.
Okay,
That would be the only stipulation. Did anybody want to make a motion to that effect?
So motion to approve Sanborn Baseball Softball Association to pay for weeding and edging of the ball fields at Greenie Park, utilizing a vendor of their choice at no expense to the town.
Second.
So my add to that friendly amendment would be, and require Sanborn to supply us with an insurance binder for the vendor.
All right, we have a public comment, Matt?
Right, but we have a motion on the floor right now. So my friendly amendment, is that,
Yeah, that's accepted.
okay, do we still have a second?
For discussion, because I see Joe wants to speak.
Okay, Joe, go ahead.
Evening, Joe Simone. The only thing I wanted to say is, does this have anything to do with this all-star thing that we gave permission to because the fields aren't up to spec that they want brought up to spec? Because I don't think we've had a request come through like this before where $4,000 to clean the weeds up and trim the grass and trim the, whatever you call it. Someone needs to look into that.
I'm
If
not
that's the
sure what
case-
the issue is.
The issue is the people that we gave permission to use the fields.
Yeah,
It seems as though this is kind of like coming up right on the tail end of that because maybe they need the fields brought up to spec so they look decent and playable.
okay.
So last,
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying it's
Right.
kind of like weird that it just falls right on the heels
Well,
of
they
that.
would like the fields to be in better shape.
Oh, we all would like them to be in better
Right,
shape.
and they're willing to pay for it.
Yes, but can't we talk to this organization about, they said that they wanted to give back to the town. It's a great way for them to give back to the town.
Because they didn't approach us, it was the Sanborn Baseball Softball Association that approached us.
Yeah, and then again, there's an association there with both leagues, so. Be that as it may be. Someone needs to look into it.
To look into what, though? Yeah, nobody understands what you want us to look into.
They're paying for it, Joe, not the town.
Yeah,
They're paying for it. They want it fixed, they're paying for it.
yeah, my concern would be if they
Yes.
turned around and said, oh, by the way, we approved it last time and now we're looking for you guys to flip the bill. You know, that would be concerning, but they're gonna pick up the bill. All we need to do is to give them permission to engage with somebody so they can do that. And as Edvin put in his motion, with no expense to the town. Any other comments on this one? And it's worth noting, I think Edvin refreshed my memory on this. We did something similar last year, but the fire department was able to get some volunteers.
Yeah,
on
because
their-
we were gonna pay for it. I believe Rec was
Yeah.
gonna pay for it
Right, but
last year.
what we ended up doing was just the, several members of the fire
Yeah, the
department.
firefighter association, but it is a lot more work than,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
more machines and stuff.
So we've done it before, but not to this extent.
Yeah.
so. All right, any other comments on this? All right, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Bob,
Aye.
Edvin,
Aye.
Charlie,
Aye.
Matt's and I. So, okay, thank you on that one. Moving on to
he has to click on it.
safety complex, letter F, estimate for minor landscaping repairs.
No, it's over there. Oh, sorry. So if you look at the safety complex, around the police station, the generator, it needs a little work. There's a bunch of weeds that are growing in there, and it needs some more stones thrown in. So I got an estimate for that from our landscaper, and that would cost $500. There's also some ruts that at the beginning of at the entrance caused by some vehicle that'll look they don't look good. So to fix that would be $475. I talked with Kim, the bookkeeper, and we have some money in the general government building funds under the summer maintenance that we could pull from to do those two things. In my opinion, the first thing, which if you want to just do it in sections, I would suggest probably doing the generator first, because that, we want to keep, the area clear around it.
Yeah, just so you know, the link on here went to the wrong estimate, but you said it's 475?
Yes, it's a combined estimate,
Yeah, for both.
yeah, for everything. He gave me one estimate.
Same landscaper, right?
Yeah.
Our current landscaper.
Correct.
So anybody want to make a motion to this effect?
So the first one we'll do, motion to approve $500 to remove the weeds and add stones around the generator that supports the police station. Funds to come from the 2022 general government building budget.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote. Bob,
Aye.
Edvin,
Aye.
Charlie,
Aye.
and Matt's an aye. The next one you want to do, Edvin?
Motion to approve $475 to fix the ruts caused by a vehicle at the entrance to the safety complex, funds to come from the 2022 general government building budget.
Get a second?
Second,
Seconded by Bob. Can we get the police department to go out there with the CSI guys and take a casting of the vehicle tires and track down who it was? I'm just joking. All right, I see Mike looking up at the camera right now. He can give you a dirty look over Zoom too. That's interesting. I learned that tonight. Okay, gonna do a roll call vote. Bob?
aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's an aye, so that's unanimous. All right, great. So moving down, we have Forest Fire Warden Services billed for training. Is that the chief talking to this one?
Yep, he's coming up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The state requires all deputy wardens to take this training every couple of years. Since the board appointed all brand-new deputy wardens, they were required to do this training. The only thing I ask of the board is I found out this afternoon that Deputy Warden Robert Hesse also took the training. So if the board approves the list of names that you have in front of you and just adds Robert Hesse, I'll have the paperwork turned in tomorrow morning to Town Hall with Mr. Hesse's name on it.
So should I add the $28 to that number that we have?
He's still gonna need signatures, unfortunately, so,
From the board, right?
right, but then you don't have the paperwork tonight, so,
Well, if the board would pre-approve it, then somebody
you're
just has to sign. When they sign the current form, whoever signs the current form can sign that new form in the morning. I'll have it first thing in the morning to Town Hall. However they
So
want to do it.
yep,
You'd have to wait for at least 3 of us to come in. That's the only thing for that one.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need
Yeah.
3 signatures on there, according to that paper. So you
If
can-
that's okay.
I can only guarantee 1, Charlie. So it's up, I mean, you can make the motion, and when they come in, you won't get the paperwork back in a timely
No,
fashion.
tomorrow, if you can get it tomorrow, I can sign it tomorrow.
Well, I believe that form after the board, it goes to the treasurer.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's all done with me.
yeah, okay.
I sign the top, turn it in, and that's it. Town Hall does the
3
rest.
of us sign it.
When's it gotta be turned in by? If he turns it in tomorrow, when's it gotta be in by?
There is,
There's no deadline.
yeah, there is
Oh,
no
okay.
deadline on it.
Yeah, I can sign it tomorrow afternoon.
So I'll make the motion, but I'll add the $28 to it.
Okay,
'Cause it's gonna be,
2878.
yep.
Do we, can we do all one motion? Do you think that's all right?
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
approve the,
I want to ask a question before we
yeah,
vote.
go ahead.
Can I adjust this? It
Yes.
was set for the road agent. Some of us
oh,
are much
yes,
shorter.
yes, sorry,
Thank you. Well, I don't want to break it.
I know. Well, you put it that way, push it towards you.
Yeah.
There you go.
You break it, the new one comes out of your budget.
Chief, is every one of these guys that you have down here doing regular shifts?
No, those
Have
are,
they been doing regular shifts?
no, that's totally separate. That's deputy forest wardens that the Board of Selectmen appointed several months ago. Some of them do shifts. Some of them do not do regular shifts. The Board of Selectmen, I forgot when they took the vote, that you had to be a current member of the fire department to be a deputy warden.
Yeah, but there's one name on here that I've talked to you about it in the past, and this person was here in Newton and left Newton, went to Amesbury, and then from Amesbury, he still worked in Amesbury, and then he went to Kingston, and now I hear he's back here. So if he's not a regular employee, I can't understand why we would keep him on the list.
That has nothing to do with me. The Board of Selectmen appoints the deputy forest wardens. The Board of Selectmen would have to take a vote to take the deputy forest wardens off.
Okay, just asking you.
Yeah, I'm just,
Nothing that you and I haven't talked about.
no, I'm, like I said, I'm new at it. They are issuing permits, and that's what their tasks were for when the board decided to make them deputy wardens, was to issue permits.
Okay.
So,
And they are available, if they're needed and they are available. That's why there's, I think, you appointed 6 deputy wardens. You appointed 6 deputy wardens and I think 3 permit writers. So there should be no reason why no town resident is unable to get a burn permit.
so motion to sign the Warden Service bill in the amount of $201.46 for training taken by issuing agents.
Correct, I think they only get $14 an hour.
Yeah, but that's everybody total, 201.46.
I appreciate it, thank you.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All right, roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
No.
And Matt's and I, so 3-1.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll get those signed, at least 3 tonight and 3 over the
Well,
coming
tomorrow,
days.
since he has to add the one name.
Oh, so it's just, okay, we don't have to sign 10 different.
No,
There's
no, it's
another
gonna be one form.
Good. That's even better. Okay, rolling along. Skateboard Park Fund, an issue we have where we need to move the funds for the Expendable Trust. Nancy, you want to talk to this one?
Yes. As we stated at the last meeting, the auditors doing their review of the 2021 tax year informed me that we couldn't take donation money and put it directly into those funds, the Expendable Trust Fund. So at this point, we need to remove the money. We need to remove the money back out into the general fund, and next year a warrant article will be created to go to request that the money be put back into the Expendable Trust. This is all something new that we just learned this year, so.
Is there any sort of ceiling or floor in regards to the amount, or is this any funds?
Any donated funds that go into a capital reserve or an expendable trust fund has to be a warrant article the next year to move
So
those funds.
It's kind of like we have to tally everything throughout the year.
Yes,
And then
correct.
give it to the voters in one shot,
Yep,
unfortunately.
correct.
What about, and maybe I know the answer to this, but when it comes to the food pantry, where we get donations, and usually at the end of all of our, not all of our meetings, but at the end of most of our meetings, we're voting to take $100 from so-and-so and put it in the food pantry.
That's a revolving fund. That's totally different from a capital reserve or an expendable trust.
That's what I thought, okay. So this is, the only thing I can see with this is going to be, an accounting headache. But, I mean, it's doable, but unfortunately, it is what it is,
Well,
based on what the auditors said.
Just so you know, Matt, we do that with the rent money for the 8 Merrimack Road. So
Right.
the bookkeeper does track that. I already asked her. She said that wouldn't be a problem. It's not like we're taking in money all the time. But
Yeah,
she'll
yeah.
set up an account where any monies that come in will go into the general fund, and then we'll know what the amount is for next year to transfer.
Cool. Do you need a motion from us tonight?
Yeah, you need the motion to take the money out of that expendable trust.
So motion per RSA 35.5 to move $4,515.25 from the Skateboard Expendable Trust Fund to the main operating account unrestricted fund balance.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's and I.
And
So,
then-
looks like you need another one.
Yep. Motion per RSA 3195-B to accept $615 in donations from various donors, funds to be deposited into the main operating account unrestricted fund balance until such time the voters pass a warrant article to move the funds into the Skateboard Expendable Trust Fund.
Second.
Second by Charlie. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I did talk to Paul Murray, so he understands what's going on. I don't see an issue where the people wouldn't transfer the money next
Yeah.
year, but you definitely need to push that so people understand.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna make sure we gave him notice.
Yep.
All right, so roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I, that's unanimous. All right, moving right along. So review quotes for AC condenser at police station.
Make a motion to sign requisition 2022-004 in the amount of $3,800 for a new AC condenser to be installed at the police station per the quote received from Valenzi Heating and Cooling.
Second.
It's $3,900.
What?
It's 39, not 38.
I've got 38 in front of
I
me.
got 38 on my
I got
board.
39.
Yeah, it's 39. No, that's 20.
I'm in here for the 310 air
Yeah.
We will, I will
Oh, that's a different quote.
redact that and say
it's-
3,900.
It should be 38.
Should be 30.
I'm not
flip
sure.
it over.
I think you're looking at a different quote, maybe?
Oh, yep.
the
Okay, it
38
is
is-
38.
All right, so yeah, it
Okay,
says
sorry about
3,800.
that.
So the only question I have is we have a bunch of different quotes here. I don't know if we want to discuss briefly why we picked the one we did.
I mean,
You picked the one you did because they were the least amount, and we have dealt with them before.
And that's what I was going after.
Good answer.
The only other thing is in the motion friendly amendment, do we want to add where the money's coming out of
Yes,
to pay for that?
yes.
so would it be out of 8 Merrimack Road?
No, it's coming out of the, we already budgeted for this.
Okay, we
Because
did.
we knew this was going to happen last year when it broke, like, towards in the late summer, so we decided to wait. So it's coming out of the general government budget under the repairs item.
Perfect.
You notice they never break in the winter, the AC units?
No, I guess I don't.
Yeah, that's weird.
So-
I don't know if anybody's ever investigated that. Okay, so we know where it's coming out of. We had a second on that motion, correct?
Yes.
Who motions?
Any,
Bob motioned, I seconded.
Okay.
okay, any further discussion? Okay, Bob,
Aye.
Edvin,
Aye.
Charlie,
Aye.
and Matt's and I. All right, moving right along. I just lost my agenda for some reason. Hold on.
Oh, we already did the Warden, Condenser, skate park.
You're on J.
Coming back up here. Okay. J is review utilizing Zoom for public meetings. Who wants to talk to this one?
That would be Bob.
Okay.
What?
I'm
You're
in
the one-
favor of it tonight.
Jay,
Jay, you had asked to have this on the agenda for, because you got some complaint or something at the planning board meeting about Zoom?
Oh, for the pavement of the road?
For Zoom meetings?
Zoom
Oh,
meeting?
no. Oh, no, the Zoom meeting, yes, okay, sorry. I
It's
got
okay.
where we're at. So, yes, we had some residents that came in from Plastow, and they didn't show up to the first meeting because of there it is. On the top of the agenda for the planning board meeting, in red lettering, it says, whenever possible, residents and employees are asked to attend public meetings via Zoom or telephone rather than in person, effective January 5th, 2022. So in lieu of what's transpiring with everything and what's taken place, I would like to make a motion that be taken off of said publications when the announcements go out in the future, so people will feel that it's all right for them to come to the meetings.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. I think that's, I told Bob, I think that's a leftover from the surge
Right.
when we were trying to encourage people not to attend, but we just missed it. I don't think it's necessary, at least right now. So, any further discussion?
So just to have
All right.
it, wait, hold it, Matt, just to have it
Go
clear,
ahead.
we're allowing people to come to the meeting,
Yeah,
but they can still go on Zoom.
yes.
Okay.
We're just making it so that they don't feel that we would rather have them via Zoom and not in person.
Not a problem. I got it
So
cleared.
just some clarity around that. It's not us that allows people to do anything. It was just we were encouraging people to use Zoom over coming.
Right.
So now we're striking that from the template now. So, all right. Okay, roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's an aye. So there's that one. All right, I think the letter K is last meeting 2 weeks ago. I put out the idea that each selectman go off and come up with some goals for the Board of Selectmen for 2022 to kind of align it with what we ask our department heads to do. In the last meeting, I brought up about us all attending the budget training, which will come up in like September, that we all attend that. Any other goal ideas from any of the other board members?
I have one. We put $100,000 extra into the building fund, and I'd like to see something done about the police station, the siding, and the deficiencies upstairs. I'm a little worried, though, when we get into that building, that we're going to end up being ADA throughout the building, and it could cost us a lot more money, but I'd definitely like to see that siding get done and closing them sliders off upstairs.
So do we think that's a selectman goal or that's a town goal?
Well, it should be a selectman goal to make sure that it gets done.
Okay.
That part of goes along with what I said about taking care of all this infrastructure that's failing. I'd like to see some of it start to happen sooner rather than later, and start getting on these projects, whether it's getting the grants, getting the money, and getting all these things taken care of, like Charlie's saying.
Okay. Anybody else have any others? Yeah, I mean, I generally don't have an
Hold on,
issue with.
Matt.
Go ahead.
Matt, a little delay, sorry.
Yep.
I was being sidetracked, that's why I couldn't get up here quick enough. To 8 Merrimack Road, the police station, I'm gonna suggest to the Board of Selectmen, the chief has been talking to the Board of Selectmen for multiple years now about doing stuff to that building, which desperately needs to be done. What you guys should do is get together and hire an architect/engineer to do a review of that entire building with the chief. Once you've done that completely, you're gonna need to spend some money to do that. Assess the building, all its needs, find out the cost is, and then do it over a multiple-year period. If you're just gonna throw money at it, it's not the way to do it. Assess the entire building, find out what it needs in its entirety, inside and out, get a number together, and then do it on a multiple-year time frame for budget money. So it's a logical way to do it.
I think the way, I kind of, jumping off of what Mike just said, for us to have a goal, look at it this way. If we gave a department head a goal to add $100,000 to their budget, they can only meet that goal if the town votes to add that $100,000 to their budget, so they, in a way, they don't have the control. However, if we had a selectman's goal to establish, and, you know, I don't know what the word would be, because we should probably complete a strategy for town buildings by the end of 2020, a goal like that, along the lines of what Mike's talking about. I think that is a more attainable goal for the Board of Selectmen. Mike's getting up again?
Kind of.
Well, that goes with what I was saying too about the CIP.
Right. Yeah.
And it falls into the CIP, but you don't think it's realistic enough this year to come up with the funding to hire an architect, engineer / to do the review, so you're not putting it out another year? Get that done this calendar year?
Well, I think what's doable is a proposal to the voters to do it for the funding, because we don't have the funding currently. We would have to get it.
Well, you do, because you have the 8 Merrimack Road, which isn't a lot of money for an engineer, but that's
Yeah.
for
Yeah, that's
engineering.
true.
Well, and I don't think,
Strike that then.
and I don't think bringing an engineer in to do a building review and some plans is gonna be an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
You could at least reach out and start getting some quotes from a couple engineers and architects and try to get that done as a goal this year. Because if you don't, you're just kicking the can down the road again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So what I hear so far for goals is budget training and developing a strategy for the future of town buildings. And perhaps even what Cheryl talked about earlier is part of that.
Yep.
Does anybody have anything else they want to add to the list?
Edmund,
Do we
you're
want
very
to-
quiet.
I'm trying to think. I have like 10 different things that I've written down. I guess going off tonight, when we talked about grant writing, this town needs to modernize. We're in 2022, and unfortunately, this town is stuck in 19 before I was born. And it's unfortunate. I hate to say that, but this town truly needs to modernize, and I think we as a board need to work with our department heads, with our administration to modernize this town and bring it to at least 2020. If anything, 2010. I'd take 2010, the year before I graduated high school. So, you know, that's one of my goals, is just to make this a more modern town and not, you know, stuck in really old days.
I have a suggestion.
Oh, fancy.
Definitely have more meetings to discuss these things. Don't put them on a regular agenda.
Oh, yeah. No,
We're
this
never
would be
getting
its own. I think these goals should be their own kind of,
This meeting every 2
Yeah.
weeks isn't working,
yeah.
especially with these
Yeah.
projects.
You know, my thing would be, we don't need a quorum at every one of these meetings, right? So if you had a selectman that was tagged with each goal as their responsibility, they could, you know, host the meeting and bring in the key figures to that meeting, and then outbrief the board at regular meetings as to what the progress is.
Chief Alcadena would like to speak.
Can I just make a suggestion? I've said this since 2015. What's the possibility to touch on what you find gentlemen are discussing, and Nancy just did about meetings? Why can't we do quarterly department meetings?
There you go.
Instead of having to have a department head stand up here the last minute when something's wrong, at least if you had quarterly department head meetings, doesn't have to be the entire board. That way you'll know well ahead of time that freight train is chugging down those tracks. Just a suggestion. I've been making that suggestion for years, and you're young, graduating in
2011, thank you.
Not a bad idea.
No,
we
I
have
think
Mr.
that's a legitimate idea, and it should happen.
Mr. Simone to the deck.
Be nice, Joe.
I am, I'm trying to. I've heard it's been bandied around for the past couple of months now. Why don't you put on their culture change? because that encompasses a multitude of things.
I like that.
And reach out to the community, ask the citizens
I like that.
and
a
the
lot.
residents, what would you like to see being done? Because like you said, this town is stuck in the 1900s. We've been doing things the same way year after year, same excuses year after year. This building's falling apart, we know it.
Yeah,
And we've been trying to get a sprinkler system in here, what, for 20 years?
yeah.
Culture change, we need a culture
There
change.
should be no more excuses. We should move on to, like I said, I'll take 2010.
And I said
Anyway.
something last week, or 2 weeks ago, that I don't know if it got heard, but this is, the Board of Selectmen, it's not a 3-hour-a-week job. It encompasses a lot more than that.
That it does.
Okay, and the selectmen have to take responsibility for overseeing a particular, okay, I'm gonna shepherd this project, I'm gonna shepherd that project. All part of culture change. And if you guys don't set the example, it's just, everything that's being said is just gonna fall on deaf ears. Nothing's gonna get done. You guys have to step up and set the pace.
And to what Joe's saying, one of the other things that I'd like to see done is to try to get more town involvement in this, because I've said this time and time again, that unfortunately, like Edwin's talking about, this time and era that we're sitting in, everybody is getting wrapped up in their own little worlds out there. And they're just expecting everything to get taken care of. And then when these things come up, like Joe's talking about, they have no idea what's taking place. And we're fighting an uphill battle trying to get that communication going with them to what's taking place and why everything's falling apart and why we need money for this and that. So unless we can get them involved so that they're in the constant know, then we're gonna continually be fighting. I mean, take a look out here. We got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 people sitting out there. 1, 2, 3 are employees of, not employees, but elected officials of the town, employees of the town, whatever. That's ridiculous.
Joe?
Just wanted to say a little something. Maybe Board of Selectmen needs to organize a few little town meetings where you just have people come in, have coffee and or whatever, chit-chat,
Good idea, Joe.
ideas.
Like it.
Yeah.
Good idea, Joe.
Now that COVID's, well, can't say over. Now that COVID's slowly,
It's in recession.
thank you. Yeah.
And in August, when we have our town thing at the school, I'd like to see if we could get more of the town there so that, and then have all of us attend as selectmen, everybody, department heads, whatever, and be able to get in there and socialize with the people of the town.
Are you talking
So
the
quick-
town old home days? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right.
You said the school.
Quick question,
old
Diane.
home
are
days.
you-
We have it at the school there.
Oh, I see.
Diane, quick question. You're writing this stuff down, or you're getting it on tape at least?
Yes, I'm getting it on tape.
I do
'Cause
want to applaud,
What's that?
I do want to applaud the ILOs. Did I say it right? This is their, I think, 6th meeting in a row. You get a free coffee after 10. And Joe as well. I think your 6th meeting in a row, so,
Nice.
and you're not
We'll
paid
have
to
to-
be here, like,
We have to
Others.
just figure out what budget it comes from. Diane, the way I'm envisioning this is if we have this full list by the end of this meeting, the board can go back and review it, and then in the next meeting, we can start saying, yes, we're gonna assign this to so-and-so, this to so-and-so, this to so-and-so. That's what I'm thinking. What's everybody else think?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
All right, any other ideas? So, Diane, if you could put that as, part of the minutes, the ideas, and we can look at them offline and discuss who's going to be on the hook for stuff at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. So we're kind of getting towards the end of the meeting here, just with, we have under other business, does somebody want to run through the manifests?
Did you want to do your capital improvement plan?
Yeah, I'll do that before the manifest. I just wanted to say, so the capital improvement, we talk about it all the time. The folks with that committee sent out, I believe, an action item to each department and committee to come up with some data. And Diane sent it out again because we didn't get a lot of response. So we just want to encourage those department heads and committees to respond. If you have a question in your response, basically saying, well, I can give them X, Y, but I can't give them Z, then that to me is a pretty good response. We can at least work with that. So if you were to respond, here's X and Y, we need to collaborate on Z, that to me is moving in the right direction. We want to move this stuff forward. So just a reminder to everybody on that one. Should be in your email inbox from Diane. I think sent it out on last Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah, you did last Tuesday a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, ballpark.
And Matt, part of what I would like to do as far as that goes, as far as the selectmen go, that we would do our own thing about a new town hall.
Right. Yeah, that's that as well as the Marshall House, I think, sits in our lap.
Well, we're gonna wait on that to see what we're gonna do with that,
Yeah.
right? But at least definitely the town hall, we need to get that in the CIP to put it in, how we're gonna fund it, how long we can put it off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the urgency.
Yep. All right, so that was just a reminder. Manifest, can we run through those?
Yep, signed vendor manifest dated April 19th, 2022, in the amount of $146,121.83, of which $915.64 went towards the cost of disinfecting the fire rescue station after town elections.
Second.
Somebody want to second it by Charlie? All right, roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's and I. Next.
Signed cable vendor manifest dated April 19th, 2022, in the amount of $7,913.68.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I. Next.
Signed police special details vendor manifest dated April 19th, 2022, in the amount of $2,493.71.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I. Next.
Signed inspector fee revolving vendor manifest dated April 19th, 2022, in the amount of $200.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I.
Signed payroll manifest for the pay period March 27th to April 9th, 2022, with a pay date of April 14th, 2022. Total payroll is $71,131.28, which includes $219.24 ARPA administrative costs.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I.
You want to do the appointment as well?
Chief Jewett would like to speak to the board under other.
Okay.
Do we want to do the appointment just to get that done with?
We're just going to do the appointment real quick. You can stand up there, yeah. Sign appointment
Yeah, just do that real quick.
Sign appointment for Carolyn Maisumi Kamau as an alternate library trustee, term to expire March 31st, 2022.
Second.
Is there a second on that?
Charlie, just second.
Charlie's a second.
Yep.
Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's and I.
Chief?
All right, Chief Jewett.
Evening, Board. Chief Jewett, Police Department. I was coming up on the other. I've got a migraine, so my apologies. You guys had talked about the Hayford carriages earlier, and it was brought up by Cheryl to, perhaps, put them in the back. I understand you guys want to look at the building and do all that stuff. Unfortunately, I've seen this over and over and over and over again. It's going to take time. Is there a way? Does the board, actually, first of all, who on the board has seen the Hayford carriages in person? Matt, I can't see you.
Matt did too.
All right, so we've got 2 board members that have seen them. We wear them on our uniform, so the Hayford carriages mean a lot to me because we actually have them on our patch. I'd like to make sure those are protected. It's part of our history of the town. That's why we have it on our uniform. I think they would look amazing back there. We've got a pile of junk. Maybe it's not junk, but a pile of stuff back there that doesn't really look that attractive.
So we can move that stuff down to the police station?
Go ahead.
You said so.
It's emergency management stuff, but it's the fire department.
Yeah,
But my,
yeah, they got plenty of room upstairs.
Has the district clerk stuff in there?
but my point is, and what I was asking is, at the Board of Selectmen, there's not a lot of people, even on the board, that have seen these carriages. I think for a temporary basis, if you guys could vote on it, I don't know how much work it would be to get them in here. They're gonna have to probably be disassembled to put over there. But why not just vote on that and go ahead and do that and be done with it? Someone's insuring that building down there in case there's a fire or anything like that. This building's being insured already. If we put them over at the Butler building, they're gonna get eaten live. Why not just put them in here and put a rope around them so people can look at it? Why do we have to wait? Fix the building or whatever you're gonna do, but put them in here.
I don't have a problem with that.
I just don't
So,
understand.
I'm trying to
Nice
figure out how
if they
to
were
word this.
together.
Would we have to get quotes to move it? Would we have to get quotes to move it? No? Okay, so motion to move the,
I know Ron and David would.
Okay.
motion to move the Hayford carriage to Town Hall at the 2nd floor for protection until we figure out what to do next.
I'll second that.
So you're moving 2 Hayford carriages?
Yes, sorry, 2.
Okay.
The only, so there's a second, just for discussion. I kind of don't think it's the worst idea in the world, but I've seen these things. I'm just, in my mind's eye, I can't visualize how this would work in that room. I'd want to see kind of a layout and stuff before I made a decision. But we can still, there's a motion on the floor, so we can certainly vote on it.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
Measure them out, make sure they're gonna fit.
Chief Alcadino wants to say something.
Evening. Since I'm not sure how long they're going to be stored, but another option is Station 2. I don't know how long the town's going to own Station 2, West Main Street. Right now, the EOC's Hummer is in there. We can move, I'm sure we can move that EOC Hummer out of there and move it down someplace. And then you have an open bay. Just another option.
But correct me if
Some-
I'm wrong, don't we have some problems with the roof over there?
You have a fire truck in there.
I know, but don't we have problems with the roof over there?
With all due respect, you have problems with the roof for years and nobody's done nothing about it, leaking over a fire truck. So maybe, I don't know what these,
To me, them Hayford carriages are worth more than the fire truck.
well, I agree, Charlie. What I'm trying to give another option instead of taking things apart and throwing them into the back of Town Hall. I don't know.
Well, I thought they were gonna place them, not throw them, but,
I don't know if they can even come apart. I don't know if once they come apart, you're gonna be able to put them together. I'm just giving another option, that's all.
well, I trust the Historical Society, and I think they've looked into it. I'm a lifetime member. So I know.
All right. Any other comments on this? We still have a motion on the floor with a second.
So
Are you,
Matt,
go ahead, Diane.
Yeah, Matt, 1 second. I'm thinking about this, so as the president of the Historical Society,
Are you the president now, Diane?
yes.
Congrats.
Wow.
That's good to
Wow.
know.
Wears many
I
hats.
think this is it's a good idea either way. Either you go to Station 2 or this one here. I think maybe what we can do is, I I think for the time being, put them in Station 2 so we don't have to disassemble them until we can figure out if we can disassemble them. Because we may have to get a specialist to do that, the guy in Kingston. So, and he's very busy, so maybe we can talk to him first before we try and take something apart that we can't put back together because we don't have the correct tools. So does that make sense then, if we could put him into Station 2, bay, whichever bay?
Can both fit in one bay?
This,
Can they? I don't know. I don't know how big the bays are.
yeah.
Chief?
Do you-
How
would
many
they-
fire trucks do you fit?
All right, why don't we,
Okay, Mike said we should be able to.
okay,
So I will redact my motion,
okay.
and I'm gonna
But-
motion,
Or just change it to.
oh yeah,
Station 2.
change it to Station 2, yeah.
Okay,
Amend it, yeah.
All right, are you still a second, Charlie? Was it Charlie? A second?
Oh, I'll stay with a second. I want them taken care of.
Okay.
I've towed one
Any
around
other
town.
Any other discussion?
Thank you,
All
Chief.
right. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Matt's and I. Cool. Okay, so we want to move on to approval of minutes. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Approve the non-public and public meeting minutes dated April 5th, 2022.
Anybody want a second?
So I'll second it.
Bob's a second. All right, roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
I'm a no.
Okay, Matt's and I. Anybody want to make a motion to unseal any minutes?
Nope.
Nope.
All right, we have a few announcements, and a couple of them we can just do quick. One is Administrative Professionals Day is April 27th. Don't forget your administrative professionals. Fire Appreciation Day is May 4th.
Hey, excuse me, on that Administrative Profession Day,
Yeah.
do we bother to get like flowers or anything for the ladies downstairs in all the offices?
Do we bother?
Why don't we discuss that maybe offline?
In appreciation for all that they do?
Yeah, let's discuss that offline, Bob. You kind of spoil the surprise if you talk about it on cable TV.
Matt,
That's why I'm trying to shame the board into doing it.
And also, Police Officers Appreciation Day is May 15th. It wasn't on the,
Is it May 15th? I thought it was a few months ago. But
May 4th, it says on here.
that's Fire Appreciation Day is May 4th.
Gotcha, gotcha.
We didn't have Police Appreciation Day on here. Chief, we appreciate
Yeah.
you.
we do.
do you like roses?
So the next thing I wanted to do is we got a couple of announcements, and I'm going to ask the people, do you want me to make the announcements with a quick summary, or
Do you want me to read the letters?
individuals want to make the announcement?
Do you want to make your announcement?
I think we could do the letters,
Would you like to read them, or would you like?
not particularly.
Okay. So this letter is from Nancy Wrigley, the town administrator, and it reads, "It is with a heavy heart, it is with a very heavy heart, after 38 years that I, Nancy Wrigley, inform you of my decision to retire from the town of Newton at the end of my one-year contract that expires on June 30th, 2022. I would like to give thanks and show my appreciation to the town hall staff for their dedication to this town and for the support and respect they have shown me over the years, who I will truly miss. It has also been my pleasure to get to know and work with so many of the townspeople in our community. Thank you, Newton, for the memories. Respectfully signed, Nancy Wrigley, Town Administrator."
So, just so everybody knows, Nancy presented us with that letter before we kicked off the meeting tonight, so it's all we're all just processing it right now. The main thing, I think, that I speak for the whole board when I say we thank her for all her years of service here and all that she's done for the town. I would put a challenge out to the entire town. If you find yourself in the town hall in the next couple of months while Nancy's still here, make sure you go to her office, say hello, shake her hand. I think we can shake hands again. Shake her hand, because there is something you cherish in this town that Nancy has had her hands on in 38 years. She has done something for you. You may not know it, but she's done something for you as a resident. So make sure you all thank her as residents.
And then the next letter, would you like me to read it, or?
Sure, go for it.
All right. The next letter from Diane Moran, Secretary to the Board of Selectmen, and really the whole town. I wish to inform you of my intention to retire at the end of December 2022. It has been a pleasure to work with all the town employees, boards, committees, and commissions. I find that it's the right time for me to pursue other interests and maybe do some traveling. It is my hope that by providing you with 8 months' notice, that we can find a suitable replacement. Signed respectfully, Diane Moran.
So I think that also is
Thank you. Thank you to the two of you.
We're trying to get 38 years out of Diane too, but we'll, she has done a lot for this town in her amount of time. It doesn't seem like that amount of time. It seemed like a lot longer. She's helped us every day. You don't know the stuff that she does for us, especially as a Board of Selectmen. The fact that we can get through these meetings is a direct result of what Diane does during the day. I think I said to somebody once that, you know, we all have jobs, right? Everybody on the Board of Selectmen. We go off and we do our jobs. She makes sure the office is running so that people get what they need. So we're gonna miss Diane, we're gonna miss Nancy, and we have a huge challenge as a board over the next few months. Get a little longer with Diane, but definitely a huge challenge. Anybody else on the board want to say anything?
I mean, you guys have done an incredible job in my 1 year as selectman, and I thank you for that. I know you've done many more things for boards before me and for the townspeople, so.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's been an honor and a privilege to get to know you ladies, to have learned what I've learned from you already, and the appreciation that I have for everything that you've done for this town, for the time that I've been here, is words can't express.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have public comment from the road agent.
I do. Publicly, I want to thank both of you guys, especially Nancy, for her job she's done. Great job over the years. Matt, you just struck upon it. I'm going to reinforce it to the Board of Selectmen. Things in the past, and I'm going to use the past, moved very slowly with the Board of Selectmen. You guys will not have the option to move very slowly on this situation. Those are two very big, important roles for this town that have to be filled. And you guys got your work cut out for you. And you don't want to procrastinate on this one at all. Make sure we're on it.
I think Mike just applied for Diane's
He did,
role.
for both, he actually said both jobs.
Yeah.
So I would, I
Motion
kind of
to
agree
make
with-
Mike the,
Yeah, it's not that easy. I do need to make a couple of motions here. The first motion is I'd like to accept the resignation letter, resignation dated June 30th, correct, of Nancy Wrigley, received by the Board of Selectmen on April 19th, 2022.
second.
Okay, seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All right, roll call. Bob?
Aye.
Edvin?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Matt's and I. I'd also like to move to accept the resignation letter dated 4/19 for an effective date of December 31st, right, Diane?
Yeah.
Don't have the letter in front. December 31st, 2022 for Diane Moran.
Second.
Can I get a seconded by Charlie?
You're real
Any
quick at that there, buddy.
No.
Wasn't that quick.
I had
No
two
thoughts,
fighting.
nothing.
I had two fighting for the second.
All right.
I figured I'd make you both happy.
Bob,
Aye.
Evan,
Aye.
Charlie,
You want me to hesitate? Aye.
and Matt's and I. So, I think what the board needs to do is we need to pick, hopefully I can be there in person, we need to pick a night, probably early next week, perhaps Monday even, to meet in a non-public to discuss the next steps. Is the board available next week, early next week?
I am.
What do you guys think?
What's next week?
I don't know, Matt, right now.
Okay.
I should be able, if it's 6 o'clock and beyond, I should be able to with no problem.
Yeah, I would think it would be.
I'm a possibly, but we'll definitely move stuff around to make it so we can start this process quick.
So can we pencil in, and we should only need the board, pencil in Monday night at 6 PM. And then if anybody from the board has an issue with timing or whatever, get back to us as soon as possible, but can we pencil that in on the calendar?
Yes. Yeah, we'll pencil it in for the board. And
Monday at what, 6, Matt?
6 PM?
Works for me.
Cool. And we'll schedule Mike's interview for shortly after that.
Okay.
All right, any other things before we adjourn?
Motion to
No,
adjourn?
this was a, right, thank you, Charlie. Yeah,
Second.
we should have adjourned before we have any other earth-shattering news. So, we have a motion and a second, so we're gonna close this meeting at 8:38 PM, and we thank everybody for their time tonight, and speak to you soon. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
so that's that EC.